What is Bitcoin, and how does it actually work? You probably heard of Bitcoin as a digital currency, but what does that really mean? Is it like the money in your wallet, or is it something entirely different? To understand Bitcoin, let's start with the basics. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and you want to buy a coffee. You can pay with cash, or you can use a digital payment method like a credit card. But with Bitcoin, it's like using a special kind of cash that exists only on computers and phones. And here's the surprising part. This digital cash isn't printed or controlled by any government or company. Instead, it's created and managed by a network of computers around the world, all working together to record and verify transactions. This network is called a blockchain, and it's the heart of how Bitcoin actually works. The third key aspect of Bitcoin is that it's decentralized, meaning that no single person or organization is in charge. This is what makes Bitcoin so unique, and it's what we'll be exploring in more detail as we dive deeper into how Bitcoin actually works. What is the underlying technology that makes Bitcoin function, and how does it actually work? At its core, Bitcoin relies on a technology called blockchain, which is essentially a public ledger that records all Bitcoin transactions. Think of it like a digital bookkeeping system where every transaction is a new entry, and this book is copied and shared among many people. The key here is that it's not stored in one single location, like a bank's database, but rather it's distributed across a network of computers all around the world. And here's the surprising part. It's maintained by a network of volunteers all around the world who work together to validate and add new transactions to the ledger. This network is made up of powerful computers, called nodes, that communicate with each other to ensure the integrity of the blockchain. When a new transaction is made, it's broadcast to the network, and these nodes verify it using complex algorithms and cryptography before adding it to the blockchain. This process ensures that the blockchain is an accurate and trustworthy record of all Bitcoin transactions, without the need for a central authority. By understanding how the blockchain works, we can start to see how Bitcoin's decentralized system allows for secure and transparent transactions, and that's what makes it so unique. To learn more about how Bitcoin works and its underlying mechanisms, keep watching. Vocabulary: blockchain, ledger, nodes, cryptography, decentralized. What happens when you send Bitcoin to someone? How does it actually get verified and added to the blockchain? This is where the third key component of Bitcoin comes in: mining. Mining is the process of adding new transactions to the blockchain, and it's done by powerful computers solving complex mathematical problems. Think of it like a massive puzzle competition, where these computers, called miners, compete to solve the puzzle first. The puzzle is so complex that it requires an enormous amount of computational power, which is why miners use specialized hardware that consumes a lot of energy. And here's the surprising part. The first miner to solve the puzzle gets to add a new block of transactions to the blockchain and is rewarded with brand new Bitcoins. This process not only validates the transactions, but also secures the network. Because to manipulate the blockchain, you need to solve the puzzle faster than the entire network of miners, which is nearly impossible. The miners are essentially the auditors of the Bitcoin network, ensuring that all transactions are legitimate and that the blockchain is accurate. By understanding how mining works, you can see that Bitcoin's decentralized nature is not just about the blockchain itself, but also about the process of validating transactions. So, now that we know how new transactions are added to the blockchain, let's dive deeper into how the entire Bitcoin network operates. Vocabulary: blockchain, miners, transactions, decentralized. What happens when you want to send or receive Bitcoin? How does it actually get from one person to another? This is where the role of nodes and wallets becomes crucial in the Bitcoin network. Think of nodes as the librarians of the blockchain. They keep a complete copy of the entire Bitcoin ledger, which is essentially a record of every single transaction that has ever happened on the network. These nodes are spread out across the globe and work together to ensure that everyone has the same version of a ledger, and they play a vital role in verifying the transactions that are being made. And here's the part that most people don't know. Anyone can run a node. You just need a decent computer and an internet connection. Now, when it comes to actually using Bitcoin, that's where wallets come in. They're like digital bank accounts, allowing users to send and receive Bitcoins. A wallet doesn't actually store any Bitcoin. It just stores the keys that unlock your Bitcoin on the ledger, and it's what allows you to interact with the network. The third key component is the software that connects your wallet to the nodes on the network, allowing you to broadcast your transactions to the world. And that's how users actually interact with the Bitcoin network, through the combination of nodes, wallets, and the software that ties them together. Understanding how these components work together is essential to grasping the mechanics of Bitcoin, and it's what allows the network to function in a decentralized and secure way. Vocabulary: blockchain, ledger, nodes, wallets, decentralized. What makes Bitcoin so secure, and how does its decentralized nature protect users' funds? To understand this, let's consider the blockchain as a digital bookkeeping system, where every transaction is recorded and verified by a network of volunteers, known as nodes. These nodes work together to validate transactions and create new blocks, which are then added to the blockchain. The key to Bitcoin security lies in the way these transactions are validated, through complex math problems that require significant computational power to solve. This process, called mining, is what prevents anyone from manipulating the system or stealing Bitcoins, because to do so, they would need to solve these math problems faster than the entire network of miners, which is virtually impossible. And here's the part most people don't know. The decentralized nature of Bitcoin means that there's no single point of failure, no central authority that can be hacked or shut down, making it extremely resilient to attacks. The third aspect that surprises everyone is that the more people who join the Bitcoin network, the more secure it becomes, because there are more nodes verifying transactions and more miners solving those complex math problems, making it even harder for anyone to manipulate the system. By understanding how Bitcoin's security and decentralization work, we can see why it's become a trusted store of value for so many people, and that's what makes it so powerful. To learn more about the mechanics of Bitcoin and how it's changing the financial landscape, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth explanations. Vocabulary: blockchain, decentralization, mining, nodes, cryptography. So, to sum it up, Bitcoin is a digital currency that works through a combination of blockchain, mining, nodes, and wallets. Let's break it down. First off, blockchain is like a giant shared ledger. Think of it as a growing chain of blocks, each containing transaction details. This ledger is stored across many computers worldwide, called nodes, making the information public and tamper-proof. Next comes mining. Imagine you're digging for gold, but instead of physical gold, miners are solving complex math problems to add new transactions to the blockchain. The first to solve it gets a reward in Bitcoin, a bit like finding the treasure at the end of the rainbow. Finally, there are wallets. These are digital addresses where you can store and send your Bitcoin. Think of them as virtual piggy banks that keep track of how much money belongs to whom. Understanding these components helps demystify cryptocurrencies. So, if you're curious about the inner workings of markets, trading, or any other financial topic, know that we're here for you. Subscribe to Market Decoded, because understanding is always better than uncertainty.